Family is supposed to be a sanctuary, a place where love and loyalty reign supreme. But what happens when family becomes a battleground, where old wounds fester and new alliances spark resentment? This is a story of fractured bonds, unspoken jealousies, and the desperate struggle to hold on to what matters most. The love of our children, the respect of our chosen families, and the courage to stand up for what's right. Buckle up, because this isn't your typical family drama. It's a raw, unfiltered dive into the messy, beautiful chaos of human relationships, where every decision carries weight, and every choice risks breaking someone's heart. Let's start with a man caught in a tug-of-war between his past and his present. 9 years ago, his marriage to Lucy ended when she came out as a lesbian. No bitterness, no betrayal. Just two people realizing they couldn't walk the same path anymore. They had 3 kids, twin teenage daughters and a younger son. Fast forward, he's now married to Julie, a woman who was once a mutual friend during his marriage to Lucy. They've built a new life together, with 2 young children of their own. Sounds like a fresh start, right? Not quite. Lucy, it turns out, has been harboring feelings for Julie for years. When Julie chose a life with him, Lucy's unrequited love curdled into something darker, poisoning their co-parenting relationship. This isn't just a story about divorce or jealousy. It's about power. Lucy wields her control over their children like a weapon, denying her ex-husband time with them during holidays, birthdays, or even random days off. Want to take the kids for a month-long adventure? No. Want them for your parents' birthday? No. Her refusals aren't just logistical. They're personal, rooted in a resentment that festers beneath the surface. And here's where it gets messy. The kids are caught in the crossfire. They don't know the full story, but they feel the weight of their mother's decisions. When their father plans a 6-week trip to Europe to care for Julie's ailing mother, he dreams of bringing his kids along to a magical, medieval villa in a small European town. Picture cobblestone streets, ancient castles, and train rides to France and Italy. A once-in-a-lifetime experience. But Lucy shuts it down without discussion. Imagine being a father, standing in front of your kids, explaining why they can't come on this incredible journey. You see the disappointment in their eyes, the confusion, and then the anger. They don't know Lucy said no. They think you chose not to take them. And when your son, voice trembling, asks if you prefer your new family over them, it's a dagger to the heart. What do? Do you shield Lucy to keep the peace? Or do you tell the truth and risk escalating the conflict? This father chose honesty. He told his kids he asked their mother to trade custody days, but she refused. He didn't vilify her. He simply laid out the facts. But when Lucy found out, she erupted, accusing him of turning the kids against her. Yet, in a twist, she relented, allowing the trip while tossing in passive-aggressive jabs. Now he's left wondering, was he wrong to tell the truth? Did he inadvertently weaponize his kids' emotions? This scenario taps into a primal fear, losing the love of your children. It's a fear that drives parents to make impossible choices, to navigate minefields of loyalty and resentment. Lucy's actions suggest a deeper motive, jealousy, perhaps, or a need to control the narrative. But let's flip the script for a moment. What if Lucy's refusals aren't just spite? What if she's genuinely worried about being separated from her kids for weeks at a time? As a mother, she might feel her bond with them slipping, especially as they grow closer to their father's new family. It's a perspective that challenges our initial judgment, forcing us to question whether her no is manipulation or a desperate attempt to hold on to her role in their lives. This ambiguity is what makes the story so compelling. It defies easy answers. Now let's pivot to another family, where the stakes are just as high but the battle lines are drawn differently. Meet a young stepmother, thrust into a chaotic household with newborn triplets, and her husband's teenage twin daughters, Stacy and Frankie. Their mother, Lacey, is a wild card, nursing old grudges from a marriage that ended badly. The twins split their time between their parents' homes, but the stepmother feels like she's walking on eggshells. The twins don't hate her, but they don't exactly warm to her either. And then out of nowhere, Lacey drops a bombshell. She buys the twins 3 cats, knowing full well the stepmother and her husband have said no to pets. Why? Because with triplets to care for, their home is already a circus. 3 cats mean 3 litter boxes, endless fur, and more chaos in a house stretched to its limits. When the stepmother discovers the cats smuggled into the twins' rooms, she's livid. This isn't about making the twins happy. It's a calculated move to sow discord. Lacey knows the cats will be rehomed, painting the stepmother as the villain. Sure enough, when the cats are sent to a new home, the twins are devastated, and their anger turns on the stepmother. Lacey calls, accusing them of cruelty, claiming the twins can care for the cats themselves. But the stepmother knows better. Teenagers want the fun of pets, not the responsibility. She's left grappling with guilt and frustration, wondering if she's the bad guy for standing her ground. This story hits hard because it exploits a universal tension: the struggle to be a good parent or step-parent in a blended family. The stepmother's decision to rehome the cats wasn't about punishing the twins. It was about survival. Yet she's cast as the ogre while Lacey plays the hero. It's a classic case of confirmation bias. The twins, already wary of their stepmother, see her actions as proof she doesn't care about them. Lacey's stunt wasn't just vindictive. It was a masterclass in emotional manipulation, leveraging the twins' desires to drive a wedge between them and their father's new family. But let's push deeper into the emotional undercurrents. What if Lacey's actions stem from insecurity? Maybe she feels overshadowed by the stepmother, who's younger, managing a bustling household, and raising her husband's new children. Buying the cats could be her way of asserting her place in the twins' lives, proving she's the fun parent. It's a flawed, selfish move, but it's human. This perspective doesn't excuse her, but it complicates the narrative, inviting us to see the pain behind the pettiness. Now consider a different kind of family conflict, one that transcends biology. A man, now 31, reflects on a pivotal moment from his teenage years. At 16, his sister outed him to their wealthy, conservative parents, who promptly kicked him out after his 17th birthday. Homeless and heartbroken, he found refuge with his best friend's family in the Bronx. They didn't just take him in, they became his family, calling him their black son, while his white family figured things out. 6 months later, his biological parents softened, and he returned home. But the bond with his chosen family never faded. Fast forward to his upcoming wedding, where he's insisted his black family be included in family-only portraits. His biological parents, who are footing the bill, object, claiming they're not real family. He's torn. Stand firm and risk their financial support, or compromise and betray the people who saved him. This story is a gut punch because it challenges our definition of family. The man's biological parents failed him when he needed them most, yet they now demand loyalty because of blood and money. Meanwhile, his chosen family offered unconditional love, no strings attached. It's a stark reminder of the availability heuristic. We often prioritize what's familiar, biological ties, over what's meaningful, chosen bonds. His refusal to back down isn't just about photos. It's a declaration of identity, a rejection of the idea that family is defined by DNA or wealth. The controversy here is deliberate. Why should money dictate love? It's a question that forces us to confront our own biases about obligation and gratitude. Let's shift gears to a lighter but no less poignant story. A 19-year-old, the oldest grandchild in a sprawling family, is fed up with being treated like a built-in babysitter. Her cousins, ranging from tweens to toddlers, are a decade younger, and she has nothing in common with them. Yet, at every family gathering, she's relegated to the kids' table or tasked with entertaining them. Her parents insist it's her duty, guilting her with lines like, "They won't be little forever." But she's not a kid anymore. She's an adult with her own interests, and she's tired of being forced to play nanny. When a family camping trip looms, and her aunt casually suggests she share a tent with the kids for a slumber party, she snaps. "I'm 19, she says. I'm not babysitting for free." Her outburst shocks her family, and her mom accuses her of hurting her aunt's feelings. Now she's wondering, was she too harsh? This story resonates because it captures the frustration of being stuck in limbo. Not quite a child, not fully an adult. The young woman's anger isn't just about babysitting. It's about being unseen, her autonomy dismissed in favor of family expectations. Her parents' guilt-tripping is a textbook example of the sunk cost fallacy. They've invested years in this dynamic, so they expect her to keep playing along. But her refusal to comply is a bold act of self-assertion, even if it ruffles feathers. The controversy lies in her demand for payment, a taboo in family settings, yet a logical response to being exploited. It's a challenge to the unspoken rule that family duties come without compensation. Finally, let's meet a woman defending her husband against a lifetime of slights. Her father-in-law, who's been in her husband Jack's life since he was 2, has always favored his biological children. While Jack and his mother struggled financially, the father-in-law showered his other kids with cars, trips, and attention. Now living 3 hours away, he rarely visits Jack's family, even when passing through their city to pick up his other kids from the airport. During an Easter visit, he casually mentions wishing he could see the rest of the family more, prompting the woman to call him out. "If you want to see us, you can. You've never even seen our house in 6 years." The room falls silent, and later, her mother-in-law says the father-in-law felt disrespected. Her sister-in-law calls her entitled, but Jack thanks her for speaking up. She's left wondering, did she cross a line? This story is a masterclass in unspoken tensions. The woman's outburst wasn't just about a single comment. It was a release of years of frustration over her husband's marginalization. Her father-in-law's behavior reflects a subtle but pervasive bias, the halo effect, where his biological children are inherently better, and thus more deserving of his time and resources. By calling him out, she disrupted the family's status quo, exposing a truth everyone else ignored. The controversy lies in her delivery, direct, unapologetic, and in front of others. It's a move that risks alienating her in-laws but earns her husband's gratitude, highlighting the delicate balance between loyalty to a spouse and maintaining family harmony. Each of these stories is a thread in the tapestry of family dynamics, woven with love, resentment, and the search for identity. They challenge us to question our assumptions. Is honesty always the best approach, even when it hurts? Can manipulation ever be justified by a parent's fear of losing their children? Does blood define family? Or is it forged in moments of unconditional support? These questions don't have easy answers, but they demand our attention because they reflect the messy reality of human relationships. So where do we go from here? For the father caught in Lucy's web, it's about rebuilding trust with his kids, perhaps through therapy to untangle the seeds of doubt Lucy may have planted. For the stepmother, it's about setting boundaries with Lacey, while finding small ways to connect with the twins, like involving them in triplet care to build empathy. For the man planning his wedding, it's about holding firm to his chosen family, even if it means a simpler ceremony. For the 19-year-old, it's about advocating for her autonomy, perhaps by negotiating specific roles at family events that don't involve babysitting. And for the woman defending her husband, it's about continuing to champion Jack, while navigating the fallout with grace. Family isn't a fairy tale. It's a battlefield, a sanctuary, and a puzzle all at once. These stories remind us that love is worth fighting for, but it comes at a cost. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to hold on to it?